Now, I would like to introduce our next speaker. Christian joined us tonight from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He will to discuss the role of storytelling and online communications platforms in advancing peace-building efforts.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christian Chito Chirigiri. I'm a youth peace builder from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm currently also a PhD researcher at the University of Ghent, where I'm investigating victim participation in transitional justice processes in Congo. Today, I'm honored to tell you my story, a story that probably is a story of many million Congolese youth that are still trapped with their dreams and ambitions in war. October 7th, 1996. I want you to remember this date with me. It was a Monday, beautiful morning. My twin brother and I were going to school. And midway towards the school, gunshots started pounding. There was commotion everywhere, and no one knew what was happening. And before we knew it, the city had been besieged by a rebel group, and that was the first Congo War. So I looked at my twin brother, Christophe, and I told him, we have to run back home. We're very scared. Every time worried that a stray bullet would catch us. But luckily we managed to reach home. When I arrived home, in the one corner of the house, I saw my mom. She was praying, worried that all of her children would make it home safely. And in the other corner of the house, my dad was trying to tune to the BBC, trying to catch the latest news on what was happening in the Congo. At that moment, I looked at the distress that my parents were feeling and that I was also going through, and I told myself, how can we change all of this? So when the gunshots stopped, I approached my dad and I told him, Dad, would you allow me to go outside and find out what was happening? Of course, he childishly pushed me out. He's like, you don't really understand what is happening. This is indeed beyond your control. And he was right. The Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the richest countries in the world, endowed with natural resources of all kinds, but still one of the poorest nations. Indeed, its population of 80 million people, 70% of which is youth between the ages of 0 and 30. And most of them are living in a situation of destitute, in poverty and unemployment. Throughout the 6 years of internal displacement that my family and I experienced from 1996 to around 2002, I was really struck every time I would meet someone I knew, because these were the people I'd shared my life with. It was good, that moment of reunion, to just say, hey, you are still alive, just like I am alive too. But that reunion that was so exciting never lasted long, because we'd always be surprised by news of someone we knew who had already passed. But I told myself also that this must change, and I needed to be part of a change because I believe that Congo is not a country that was cursed to be in violence all the time. So together with some youth, we started a cultural center that promotes youth leadership through arts and communication. Our work had expanded not only from my home city in Bukavu, but to other provinces where we started engaging with youth on how we can transform the narrative of peace. After some time, I realized that while our work had received a lot of attention and that we had been making some impact, it was not enough. Because my story, the story of Congolese youth, is not unique. These are the stories that we know that people and youth in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Somalia, in South Sudan are experiencing as well on a day-to-day basis. And I had a mission to connect the narratives. So for me, it was also important to go to those places so that we can build solidarity with other youth working for peace. In 2016, I decided to move to Colombia, where I'd been working for the past 3 years supporting youth participation in peace-building processes. And you can bet it was not easy to learn Spanish. But I managed. I stuck together with it. And after some time, I realized 3 things that I'd like to leave with you as I leave this stage. When you talk about shifting the narratives, when you talk about transforming the narratives, it's also understanding the role of the media. That if we are focusing so much of our attention on negative stories of war and conflicts, which truly are happening in many parts of the world, we are missing out on the positive stories of youth like me, like other youth in Congo, in Colombia, in Sri Lanka, and other parts of the world that are working for peace. So we need to shift that imbalance in our storytelling. The second point I'd like to highlight here is, although the vast majority of the youth population in the world is in conflict contexts, most of them are working for peace, and it's important that stakeholders decide to invest resources in supporting youth-led peace-building initiative. And lastly, I would like to say that while online engagement, which we have done through my initiative called Peacemaker 360, that highlights stories of peace builders from all around the world, is an important tool in bridging the gap and connecting communities working for peace, it's also very important to have spaces like these, peace talks, where we can actually look at each other in the eyes, feel each other's emotions, and decide together to work for peace. Thank you very much.